Now, let's take a look at some of her work on 60 Minutes. She struggled to show support for Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu.
Do we have a real close ally in Prime Minister Netanyahu?
I think, with all due respect, the better question is, do we have an important alliance between the American people and the Israeli people? And the answer to that question is yes.
And then she gave this incoherent answer on that same topic.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
Okay, Josh, what do you make of what you've just heard?
You know, some people are calling this a word salad, Rita. The problem is that a salad can at times be quite delicious. I mean, this is more closely analogous to a word turd sandwich, frankly. That is how I would prefer to describe this. You know, Rita, I'm coming to you. I actually came straight from an event that President Trump did on October 7th. I came straight from Trump National Doral, his golf resort in South Florida. He hit a grand slam home run. This was an event that Trump did earlier today here in the United States, talking to a predominantly Jewish room, although there were certainly Christian supporters of Israel there as well. He gave a fantastic speech where he solemnly vowed to stand shoulder to shoulder with the Jewish people and the Jewish state of Israel. He said, "You will never, ever, ever have jihad or the threat of another Holocaust on my watch. This never would have happened under my watch." He said all of the right things, and he means it. He actually visited the Ohel. He visited the gravesite of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Schneerson, may his memory be a blessing, one of the greatest Jewish sages of the 20th century. He was there earlier on Monday with Ben Shapiro up in New York City visiting this gravesite. I mean, this is a man whose natural sympathies for the broader Judeo-Christian inheritance that makes Western civilization cannot be doubted. You compare that to what we just heard there. I mean, how do you even compare that? I mean, Donald Trump is going to the Lubavitcher Rebbe's grave in New York City, and she's planting a tree at her place in Washington, D.C., and Tim Walz is sitting down with Stephen Colbert. I mean, you simply just cannot compare these two things. Final point, just real quick. You know, Kamala Harris, right there in that response, tries to do something that a lot of Democrats do, which is to say, oh, I stand with Israel, just not with Benjamin Netanyahu and the Netanyahu government. Total baloney. Benjamin Netanyahu speaks for the Israeli people when it comes to his announced war aims of eradicating Hamas and returning the hostages, which have been his two war aims for a year now. Something like 80% of Israelis agree with those two war aims. So this purported divide between Netanyahu and the Israeli people, it's a false divide. You either stand with both or you stand with neither.